with the smiles on many of your faces, especially the women here. I think you should come up and give the homily. You students here, have you ever heard the words, "As long as you're in this house, you will abide by my rules"? No, I'm sure none of the parents here have ever said those words at all. And yet, those are the first ideas that came into my mind as I first read today's gospel. Now, there's a tradition in the Catholic Church about this gospel, which I think somewhat tames the gospel. It's usually described throughout history as the active life versus the life of prayer, or action versus contemplation. And prayer and contemplation always end up on top. And that traditional way of seeing this gospel, I think, sells the gospel short. When I was asked, do I have a theme at all for today's gospel from the ministers here, I basically said, if there's any theme, I think it's who's in charge? Who's in charge? Take a look at Martha. Martha was, if you are in this house, you will abide by my rules. Even to the point of letting Jesus know that he's a guest and he is going to abide by her rules. Why don't you tell my sister that it's not her place to sit at your feet? She should be in the kitchen with me. Martha was in charge. Martha ran things and probably ran them very well. But Martha ran things. In contrast, the words sitting at the feet of someone, especially in the times when the Gospels were written, was a very particular understanding and a very particular meaning. To sit at the feet of someone meant to be their student. To sit at the feet of someone meant to be the disciple. And ultimately, I think what today's reading is about is not necessarily about prayer and action, service and contemplation. It's about what does it mean to be disciple? What does it mean to sit at the feet of Jesus? And prayer is there. I'm not going to say it's not. But prayer doesn't mean saying prayers. Prayer means listening. Prayer means allowing ourselves to hear the words of God spoken to us wherever they come. To sit at the feet of Jesus means to listen to him. To sit at the feet of Jesus means to be a person of prayer. But it means so much more. To sit at the feet of Jesus means to try to see the way Jesus does. And let's just think about what's happened in our world and our nation and even our city these past couple weeks. To sit at the feet of Jesus does not mean to throw up our hands in despair, to wring our hands and saying nothing can be done. But as we see the violence that is part of, sadly, human nature, to sit at the feet of Jesus means that we are going to try however we can to do something about that. To sit at the feet of Jesus means to develop a deep respect for all people. To sit at the feet of Jesus means to be reconcilers. To sit at the feet of Jesus means that we will go about creating peace wherever we can. To sit at the feet of Jesus means we will not just listen to the Word of God as it comes to us in the Bible, but we will try to hear the Word of God as it comes to us from all of our sisters and brothers, especially those who are different from us, especially those who might not have the same tastes as we do, especially from those with whom we might disagree. To sit at the feet of Jesus means that we will, as Abraham did, welcome the other in our midst, especially when that other is poor or despised or so different from us we cannot see anything in common. To sit at the feet of Jesus means that Christ is in control. I'm not. And so I tend to think this reading has so much to tell us today. Who is in control? Do we want to cling to control and be Martha and let everybody know what they ought to be doing, including God himself? Or do we sit at the feet of Jesus? Let him be in control. Let us be learners, followers, disciples. Jesus said that latter way is the better part. And if we allow ourselves to follow it, we will indeed be blessed, and those blessings will not be taken away from us.